Welcome to the None But Curious podcast. We're all about finding inspiration in life's uncertainties. Whether you're still figuring things out, questioning your beliefs, or just curious about the world, come hang out with us as we celebrate the beauty of not having all the answers.
February is a month drenched in messages about romance. Store windows overflowing with red and pink heart balloons, checkout lines lined with overpriced flowers, even heart-shaped steaks on the menu. Everywhere you look, it seems to suggest that love is only about pairing up, passion, and exclusivity. Yet across cultures and religions, love has always been understood more broadly than romance alone. Time and again, different belief systems highlight friendship as one of the most transformative forms of love, the kind that walks beside us, speaks the truth even when it's hard to hear, and helps us grow into our fullest selves. Today, we're turning our attention to this kind of friendship, exploring companionship as a path in its own right. Buddhist teachings speak about friendship in a way that may catch some of us off guard. They don't treat it as a mere extra to spiritual life. They show that it's a vital, essential part of the journey. In a well-known exchange from the Upada Sutta, the Buddha's close companion Ananda remarked that spiritual friendship seemed to make up half of the holy life. The Buddha gently corrected him, saying that admirable friendship is not half of the path, it is the whole of it. This teaching suggests that friendship is not an extra layer added to spiritual practice. It's part of the foundation beneath it. Growth is not meant to happen alone. It unfolds through relationships marked by care, honesty, and shared effort. In Buddhist tradition, the term kalyāṇa-mitta means spiritual friend or noble friend. This is someone who encourages wisdom, notices when we begin drifting from what matters most, and walks beside us as we pause, realign, and try again. They are not interested in flattery or easy agreement. They care about our well-being and our becoming. Can you recognize someone like this in your own life? The friend who asks with quiet sincerity, "Are you really okay?" The friend who sees your strength when you have forgotten it. That friend who sits with you when silence feels more honest than any words. Friendship like this is not casual. It helps shape the direction of a life. In its steady presence, the work of awareness, compassion, and self-understanding becomes not only possible, but shared. In Sufi wisdom, the company we keep is believed to shape the condition of our hearts. Teachers and poets in this tradition often speak about the importance of staying close to people who feel inwardly alive. Their presence does something subtle but really powerful. It stirs awareness, it softens us, and it helps sincerity rise to the surface. A true friend offers comfort, but they also awaken us. Sometimes that awakening feels reassuring, like being deeply seen and accepted. Other times it can feel terrible, a little unsettling, because a real companion reflects us back to ourselves. They help us notice our strengths, our vulnerability, and the parts of ourselves we have overlooked or avoided. Sufi teaching encourages us to keep close to friends who support growth in this way. The guidance is not rooted in harshness or criticism. Instead, it's grounded in kindness, honesty, and a clear, compassionate way of seeing. A good friend does not shame or diminish. They illuminate. Aww. Friendship like this invites humility. It softens the protective layers of the ego and creates space for self-knowledge. When we feel safe enough to be honest, change then becomes possible. In this tradition, friendship is not simply companionship or shared time. It's part of the path of awakening. Through the presence of a trusted friend, the heart learns to recognize itself more clearly, more truthfully, and with greater compassion. In Chinese philosophy, friendship is seen as one of the relationships that shapes who we are. In the Confucian tradition, the people we choose to keep close guide our habits, strengthen our integrity, and deepen our sense of responsibility to others. Friends aren't valued only for companionship or shared interests. At their best, they offer steadiness, they encourage reflection, and support the patient work of becoming more trustworthy and compassionate. The Analects offers a deceptively simple but deeply challenging piece of advice. When you make a mistake, don't shy away from correcting it. This straightforward guidance asks a great deal of us. To recognize an error requires humility. To change course requires courage. And to keep growing often requires relationships where honesty feels safe. A true companion creates that kind of space. With them, correction doesn't feel like humiliation because it's wrapped in kindness. They can speak truth without harshness and receive it without defensiveness. In their presence, growth becomes something we can welcome instead of avoid. This vision of friendship is not about constant agreement or easy reassurance. It rests on a shared commitment to becoming better human beings. Good friends help one another stay aligned with what is right, even when that alignment calls for discomfort, apology, or change. In Celtic spirituality, Anamkara, or soul friend, describes someone who holds space for the deepest parts of our lives. A soul friend is someone with whom the deeper parts of life can be spoken aloud, a companion who welcomes doubt, struggle, hope, longing, faith, and uncertainty without any judgment. With them, nothing essential needs to be hidden and nothing fragile is brushed aside. They hold space for our whole selves, affirming that we are seen, heard, and safe. To be heard in this way can feel like shelter. A soul friend listens without turning away, without rushing to fix things, and without reducing complex feelings to simple answers. Their presence makes honesty feel very possible. A soul friend is someone who sees you fully, without pretense. Someone who listens with an open heart. Someone who stays even when the road ahead is uncertain. In this kind of companionship, change isn't forced, it's gently supported. Over time, the truth becomes easier to face, and we find ourselves more at peace with what we discover there. Across these traditions, sacred friendship carries a recognizable warmth. It feels like being known without having to perform. It feels like being so safe enough that you can tell the truth. It feels like being encouraged to grow, even when growth is uncomfortable. This kind of friendship tells the truth without cruelty. It offers care without trying to control. It makes room for both joy and sorrow, celebration and grief. It doesn't demand perfection. Instead, it practices presence. Life brings seasons none of us can fully prepare for: loss, illness, uncertainty, and sudden change. Sacred friendship does not remove these realities, but it helps ensure that we don't face them alone. A friend sits beside you in a waiting room. A friend who you haven't heard from in a few weeks to a month sends a random meme that makes you laugh, and you know you don't need to reply. A friend shows up with soup or quiet company that asks nothing in return. Most sacred friendships do not appear dramatic or heroic. They unfold in small, steady moments, like when someone remembers what matters to you, someone listens without interrupting, someone celebrates your growth without competition or comparison, someone simply stays, not because it's easy, but because it's meaningful. And in a culture shaped by speed and distraction, sacred friendship moves at a slower pace. It grows through shared time, shared truth, and shared presence. So, in a season that often highlights romance, how about we ask ourselves, who walks beside me in truth? Who encourages my growth? Whose presence helps me become more compassionate, more honest, more courageous? And then, just as importantly, to whom am I offering this kind of friendship? So these traditions point us towards something both simple and yet profound. Love isn't confined to romance or grand gestures. More often, It appears in the friend who makes space for our true selves, who stands beside us when the path feels unclear, and who listens without rushing to fix what hurts, and who stays present when the road is unclear, reminding us that we don't have to walk it alone. It's a quiet, steady love, the kind that helps us keep going. Huh. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me again. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you keep coming back. If you like this episode and it resonates with you, please feel free to share it. Find me at nonebutcurious.org and somewhere on social media, maybe at nonebutcurious. Just come back. I like when you're here. And until next time, stay curious.